Alright guys, next video here. This is gonna be the continuation of the last video where we were going to be installing all the mods on the Jetta. So let's get straight to work and let's get it finished today. Alright guys, so we're gonna start by mixing this JB Weld glue until it's one color for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and apply it right on the spots that we need the glue to actually weld the plastics together. And we're gonna let it sit for an hour or so it can harden up. Alright guys, so let's continue installing the rest of the mods, like the wing we just painted on the last video. We have this one for the trunk, and we have this smaller wing that we're gonna be placing right behind the roof on top of the glass. Alright, now we're gonna use some wax and grease remover to actually wipe down the surfaces, and the double-sided glue can stick both on the wing and on the trunk very well. Now that it's wiped off and clean, we're gonna start sticking down the actual double-sided tape on the whole wing so we can have a nice covered area and it will stick completely into the car and won't fall off. Now to install it, just eyeball it and measure it with your hands so it's nice and even, and once you got it, just press down hard on it a couple of times, just like I'm doing here, and it'll be all set. It's gonna be perfect. Now we can go ahead and install the top wing. This one already came with the double-sided tape on it, so after you clean everything off, you just take it and peel it off. And for this step, you're gonna need somebody to help you out to actually line it up. So start from one side and start sticking it down and just press on it, and it's gonna be looking great, just like it is right now. Moving on to the front guys, we're gonna be installing this aluminum tow hook. It's really simple, it's just a screw on, it's a left thread, so just like I did here, do it by hand and then tie it down and you're gonna be all set with that one. It's gonna look great on the front, and when you move on to the back you can do the same thing with this one. Install your old or the original tow hook on the bottom of the car, and then you can place this one over it. It's really simple, 2 nuts and bolts, just tie it down and it's gonna look great. Alright guys, so I got this new emblem that is gonna replace this one that I have right here. This one comes with the brake light, so it lights up red, and I got this brake pulsator. So for the lights, when you step on the brakes, it flashes. I think it's gonna look pretty cool. So let's take this one off and let's start doing the electrical installation on it. Okay guys, to take the original emblem off, we're just gonna use this plastic pry tools because it's just held by glue. Just rip it out right off without breaking it if you want to keep it. Scrape off the old glue, and now we can proceed to actually putting on the new light. We're gonna have to drill a hole so the cables can go inside of the car. So let's go ahead and take off this plastic protector that is got on here, using a T20 for the 2 screws that are hiding where you put your hands at. You take them right off, and then it's just gonna be hold-on clips. Remember, just rip it right off, put it aside, and now we can measure where the actual hole is going to be at. Just by looking at it, make sure there's no cables behind it, and we can get to drilling.
Now that we have it installed, let's go ahead and take our strip tool and actually strip the tips of the cables. And now let's install the brake pulsator. The black and white cables are going to be the ones we're going to be using to put in directly into the light. Of course, you know, the black is the negative and the white cable right here, as it says, is the out positive. So we installed that one with the red cable of the light, just like I'm doing here. After we finish, we can use some electrical tape and tape it all up so we don't have any electrical problems later on. What we're going to use for connecting these cables, guys, is the third brake light right here. You're going to go right under it, and right there you see the harness that leads into it. Unplug it and take the old tape that's got around it off, and we actually gonna cut the red and black cable right here. This is the positive. Gonna strip it on both ends just like I did here, and you're gonna go ahead and take a connector, put it on the one cable, clamp it down, and now we're gonna go ahead and use some electrical wire that you can find in your local hardware store. Measure it so you can make sure you have enough cable to work with, strip it, and now you can make the connection back onto the third brake line. Okay, now that we finished there, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the actual brake pulsator and take the negative cable and strip it off. You want a nice surface, long enough, because we're gonna go ahead and use one of these self screws, and by using this screw you have the connection already made for the negative and you don't have to cut any other cables. Now we're going to take the cable that we used to connect to the third brake light, and we're gonna go ahead and run it all the way to the top. Let's start by removing this plastic piece right here. It's got a couple clips in the back, so just take them all off. Guys, when you're running the cable, make sure that you leave enough cable in the back so when you open and close the trunk, you don't rip the cable off. And now finally we can get to making the connection, and now we can put everything back together. Hey guys, time to install the automatic light switch. It's really simple. It comes in this small box, and as you can see right here, this is the regular switch, and it comes with this cable that has a sensor on it. Now to remove the old switch, all you have to do is actually go ahead and press in the off position and then turn to the right and pull it right off. That's how you take it off. Now guys, all we have to do is take off the harness. It's got a clip in each side, so just press them both at the same time and you can just take it right off like this. Now before we actually plug the new unit in, we're gonna run the cable first. So let's open this door right here in the bottom, just pull it off, and we're gonna go ahead and take this side cover off as well. So push in with your fingers and then you can get your fingers under it and you can take it right off. Now we can put the actual sensor through the incision here and just run it all the way to the top. Click the new unit into the harness, and now you can take the sensor with the cable, and we're going to be running it through the side just like I'm doing here. Now take your plastic tool and you're gonna want to press in the cable as far as you can so you can have a nice cable management. Alright guys, now that we have it all put back together, let's go ahead and test it out and see if it'll work.
Guys, all the mods are looking great. We were able to install everything in the back of the car, the automatic headlights, switch, the lights in the front are working. Now it's time to see if this thing finished drying up, which I think it has. It's been more than an hour already since we did all that stuff. If you feel it, it's hard inside, so hopefully it'll hold. So let's take the tape off and let's get to work.
Alright guys, before we secure it, let's put the cable back. I found this little hole right here that it actually worked to take the cable right into the headlight. So now we just gotta put the clips in the bottom back together, and we can go ahead and put the screws on the top, and that way we can secure it. Alright guys, now it's time to do the installation on it. So let's go ahead and access the harness that leads into the headlight. We're gonna go ahead and take it out. Alright guys, right here we're gonna be using the red cable as the positive, so you can see right there, and the black cable we're gonna attach it to the yellow cable, which is gonna be our negative.
We got a lot of work done today. Final touches, we're gonna be installing these R-line badges right here and on the side as well. So let's get to it and let's get done with the video. set for today. We finished everything on it. Loved everything, how it looks. It looks super nice and slick. Now for next video, stay tuned because we're going to be rebuilding our new build, and also we're going to be finishing doing some electrical work on it. Actually, it's going to be the traction control button that is going to go inside the car. We're going to take this old ugly thing off and replace it with some hood struts, so it's going to be real nice, and replace some of the spark plugs cables or the housings that are coming in the car now, the red ones. They're gonna look really nice. So please like the video if you liked it, subscribe, hit the bell for next time I make an upload, and I'll see you on the next time. Thank you.